Hi guys, Arthur here from Homeowner DIY. Today I'm going to do the second sink in my little series of slow draining sinks. So once again, what we're going to do, we'll fill the sink up a tiny bit. And again, first thing we're going to do is watch how long it takes for the water to start flowing slowly. And you see right away that the water is draining slowly, which means our blockage is right near the trap. So I think once again, our blockage is in this area. Now, in this particular case, I know where the blockage is because I've already checked this, but this is something that's going to be very common. So you see the cross there, do you see the bar, and then you can see the hair. So this cross that's inside the drain, this is a very common place to catch hair, especially longer hair. So if you guys want to try to even skip out with taking the drain apart, what you can do, this will be hit and miss, but what you can do is try to use needle nose pliers to pull some of the hair out. You may push it down, you may pull some of it out, but this is, if you want to just try to skip out the trap, if you're not confident in your ability to take the trap off and then put it back on, this is what you can do. But you can see how little hair I've gotten on this. I'd probably be fighting with this for a little while to try to get it out. But I'm not going to do the needle nose pliers method. What I'm going to do is the normal method of taking off the trap. Our tools list, once again, we have our water pumps, we have gloves, and then we have our bucket. So we'll put our bucket underneath. I'll put some gloves on. We'll take the trap off. And like I said, because of the cross is in this area here, so that's where it's going to be. So what I'll do is I'll put the gloves on, and then we'll take off the trap, take the water out, and then we'll continue on. Alright guys, take quick note. Me being a plumber, I want to know what I installed and have the extra parts on hand. So here I taped to the bottom of the sink what type of faucet it is. The reason that I taped the type of faucet to the sink is because I did a kitchen faucet for somebody else. It was an American Standard. They had a problem and now we can't get a replacement cartridge. I sent pictures of the cartridge and everything else, and they sent us the wrong cartridge. So from this experience, I would say it's better have exactly what you installed taped to the sink. And then this is an aerator key for your aerator. A lot of times you can just use a wrench, but a lot of times now newer faucets don't allow you to use a wrench, so that is why the key is right there. So guys, if you ever have a problem where your hot and cold are both, you have low pressure, you have a problem with your aerator. If you only have one side that has low pressure, then you have something blocked in the cartridge on one of the sides, which I will get into another video whenever it comes up. But what we'll do right now is we will take off our union trap. So just for the heck of it, we'll put that on and then unscrew it. And then our top, we'll take this off and then unscrew it as well. You see our water dripping. Alright guys, so this is 1.25 inches. It's actually smaller than 1.5 inches. What I wanted to do for you guys is here on the trap arm, I wanted to cut a Y in, but I wasn't able to get the clean out. So one thing you need to keep in mind, the cast back here is, I believe it's 2 inch, there's a bushing here. So by code today, you need to have a 2 inch clean out for 2 inch pipe. So what service companies will do is, to make it easier, they will cut in a Y on the trap arm, put in a fitting clean out. Now, because this is 1.25 inches, this is technically not to code, but it's so much easier to just take the clean out cover off and then go in through the back side of this instead of struggling to go through the 90. And this is what happened on my other video, and that's why this is really good for contrasting purposes. Alright guys, so once again what I'm going to do is I'm going to show you the flashlight trick. This time the blockage is still there, so you can see how little light is getting through. And then once again I'll show you guys from the top what it looks like. You can see the hair is right there. So this is a really, if this is the only blockage, this will be quick and simple. But based on the amount of light getting through the bottom right here, it shows you that we have a fairly decent sized blockage. Okay, so this area here again is our FOP, or fixture outlet pipe. This is a tail piece. You can get different lengths. This one's chrome. You can get them in brass as well. They come in plastic for a cheaper version. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to take this off. You see the Teflon tape? Guys, if you take this off, you do need to put on new tape, or you can even use pipe dope. Pipe dope looks better. I've never had a problem. And one thing, you don't want to clamp on this too hard because you can crack it. So it'd probably be better to go up. Oh, I broke it. Yeah. And this is what happens when things get old. So we might as well use this as an educational tool. Now there's a hairline crack. That was me when I went with the wrench. So guys, this is what happens when things get old. But you can see that the threads are completely broken. This is wear and tear, and this is why a service company will normally have spare parts on hand. So this went from a very simple fix into a much more difficult fix. So what I'm going to do now is we'll take this nut off here, and then we'll take the whole thing off. But this thing at this point now is completely hooped, and there's nothing that we can do about it. But it's more information for you guys, so it's not a big deal. Besides, I've got extra parts on hand. Once again, I'm getting creative. So to spin the nut on the bottom, we need to brace this in place. So I'm just going to use a flathead to hold it in place. Again, this thing is broken now, so it doesn't matter all that much. It doesn't mean manhandle the heck out of it, because you can crack something else. But at least I'm going to be able to show you how to put a new piece on. Alright guys, so that's the nut is off. There's our nut right there. And then you can see the amount of hair, soap, whatever it is. And then once again, touch base on the hairline crack, which happens to be right there. There you go. Now you can see the crack. Guys, this is a very common thing to have happen. Like I said, the threads have broken off. So this thing is now garbage. But what we'll do is we'll take this out. Oh, it's all slimy. And this is when a big old flathead is useful to have, because you can pick everything out. I don't even need to pick everything out because I'm taking this thing out anyway. Our nice little mess. And guys, like I said, be careful, because you can break the sink. I have done it. Things get old, they break, especially when it comes to water. So it's caught on the rubber here. That's what it's caught on right here. Okay, so you see all the buildup. Just terrible. Alright, so what I'm going to do is I'm going to clean this up and then we'll come back. Alright, so this is all now cleaned out. These are what I have. So this is the original. This is a brass one, and then this is a plastic one that I believe came off of Moen. So this one and this one are roughly the same height, so I'm going to go with this one, but it's pretty much the same design. This is the nut that clamps from underneath. You drop this portion down, and that is what'll, in this area here is where it clamps onto the actual sink itself. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to take this one apart, put putty here, and then I'll put it in. The reason I prefer putty over silicone in this case here is because if you need to take it apart, it's going to be easier. Silicone can be really tough to take apart, and as I've already demonstrated how easy it is to break something, that is why in this case I would go with putty. Alright guys, this is a pop-up style. So this is going to sit right here. It'll go down in like that. Yes, just like that. Oh, that even popped up too. Anyway, so what we're going to do is right along here, we're going to put our putty, and that's going to seal on our sink. So what you want to do is get a nice uniform amount. So really push it on, like get a nice collar on it like that. Okay, so that looks good. Of course, clean this out, make sure that's all nice so you don't have any type of problems. We'll push this down. Alright, so that's in. This is our nut, and then it has this rubber that goes on the bottom. So this also comes with a rubber gasket. This would be for where I put the with the putty in. I prefer to use putty because any irregularities or variations in the sink, the putty will take up a lot better. And of course, we don't want to install things more than once or have to go back to fix it. So all we're going to do is screw it on. And again, guys, don't go tightening this on too tight because you can crack the sink. So we're at the top, we see our putty has squeezed out all the way around. Guys, it is very common for putty to squeeze out later on as well. Just as it squeezes out, all you need to do is just clean it up and throw it off to the side. Alright, so with our drain assembly on, we'll put our ring for our slip adapter. So guys, this is an 1.25 inch tail piece. So it's a union, get the union on. And this is why your tail piece length does matter, because if it's too short, you gotta go get a new one. Alright, so we're going to test our sink now. Guys, I would say you do about halfway of the volume of the sink, and that'll be a nice solid test. You want a good volume of water going down your drain. Don't see anything dripping. Everything looks good. And then one more time so you guys can see up top. I'm just using the rubber stopper. This is the actual pop-up that I will put in just a moment here. And then guys, really quickly, this is the aerator right here that the little blue key underneath the sink is taped to. And then all you do is just turn it. It's just a wrench. They call it an aerator wrench. You get the tornado, everything goes down nicely. Underneath, everything looks good. I have to say I'm happy. Alright guys, so you can see the cross that I was talking about. This is where hair is going to capture, is right on the cross. So this is, I would say most commonly, this will be the first thing that you'll have a problem with. Newer designs, they have some type of protrusion like this sticking out, but they're different now. Even this is now a pop-up opposed to a rubber stopper. So guys, this is just a rubber stopper. Either or will work. I mean, in this case here, I think I'd rather use the stopper than use this. It's just more stuff to get caught on. Alright guys, once again, let's check for leaks. Everything looks good. Always run your hand around it because you may get something like a weeping leak that you can't see. If you run into a problem where your union trap here starts leaking, I've had this happen. Guys, just have some silicone on hand. Putting silicone on a leaking union trap is frowned upon. It would never pass in construction. But the customer getting a bill, you know, they're going to blame you why the trap is leaking. So just in a nutshell, have silicone with you just in case. Just because, you know, you don't want to run to the store for anything else. But otherwise, you can see my new water lines. I put on stops at some point. Again, this is our faucet, our aerator key that'll go into there if we need to take it off. Otherwise, job well done. Everything looks good. Guys, what I'm going to show you right now really quickly is what a clean out on the trap arm looks like in case this is something that you may want to do later on. Alright, so this is a kitchen drain. We have our one side of the sink, we have our other side, we have our T. If you wanted to connect a dishwasher, you have to connect it here or here. You cannot be on the back side of the trap here because it's not vented. So with your dishwasher, you're going to get air from either here or here, and then you're going to be fine. But if you plug it into the backside of the trap, it's not vented because you got a layer of water here, so your trap seal is going to block any air, so it's not going to be vented properly. But for a trap arm cleanout, this is my cleanout here. So in the other video, I went through the 90 here. I took this off, and then I went through the 90 here, but you can see how tight it is right here to get the cable through. So we'll way around that, and this is what a service company will do, is they will cut in a Y. So you see our fitting right here, we have our fitting clean out, and then it's just glued in. So what you're going to do if you need to clean this out is you take this cap off, and then you can send your cable straight down through here. Once again, this is not technically to code because you need the same size cleanout for the same size pipe, but a service company, this is what they will do. They'll charge you $85, and this will cost you about $10 to do on your own. Alright guys, another slow draining sink in the books. When I did the other sink, the sink number 1, I broke the drain assembly off when I did that last time. That's why I was sure that I'd be okay about not carrying a spare assembly. But this is something I've also learned over the years. When it comes to plumbing, everything breaks off. I've had to go to the store 5 times on the same job because every step of the way I broke off something else. This was originally going to be a quick, 20-minute fix. I think I'm in for about an hour now, but I had extra parts. The drain assembly that I use, I believe, is off of a Moen faucet, but it works. There's no problems. If I was going to now do this job for somebody, we'd be probably, I don't know, $100, $120. I mean, it's not difficult to fix. But you need to have putty, wrenches, anything. Be prepared for the unexpected when it comes to plumbing. And that is one thing that I've learned over the years about doing any job is that, you run into problems, be over prepared, and then anything you can just run back to the store later on instead of being stuck there. Especially when the store is closed and you have no other option, then that is when you really run into problems. So guys, I'm really happy that this turned out to be a pain because it's just more information, more content that I can pass over to you guys. And breaking a drain assembly is nothing rare. I mean, it happens all the time. Even the tailpiece, I cracked it trying to take it off, and this is a very common thing to have happen. So guys, I hope something here has helped you. If you don't want to take off the drain assembly, you can always use needle nose pliers. That is going to be totally hit and miss. The other thing that you can always do is, if you take off the trap, you can try to push the blockage from the bottom. One thing I've also noticed is dollar store soap, like liquid soap. I noticed dollar store soap tends to, I don't know, solidify, get stuck together. What you saw that I pulled out, that is typical dollar store soap. I mean, for the price, because I can fix this stuff myself, I still will use dollar store soap. It's not a big deal, but be prepared for the unexpected. I needed more tools than I was expecting. I had a couple drain assemblies here at the house, and well, this sink is our house, so I mean, this was not a big deal whatsoever. Guys, I hope you enjoyed the video. I hope you got lots of information here, because this is a very common thing to have happen when you go to, you know, fix something that is plumbing related. Guys, until next time, please hit the like button, subscribe, and I'll see you on the next project.